Hello everyone, today we have new video review and this time we're gonna check fresh release from Miniart. As you can see, that's a 1/35 scale T-55 and it copies 1963 modification of this tank, but there will be also some other versions in the future. It is interior kit, so you get full interior in the box. And first, let me remind you that we are still getting money for the new camera and you can help us by pressing the donate button on our website. It is easy, it is done via PayPal, so it should be safe as well. And of course, you decide the amount you donate to us. And be sure we'll use this money for the new camera, which will shoot better video quality and better sound quality. So as you can see, this big box houses some parts for the T-55. Here you can see comparison with my hand. Box art is quite nice. Then here we don't have list of the features on the front, what is quite typical for Miniart, but at least here we have information about the amount of parts. There are 1284 parts inside, and such huge amount can be explained by interior. As I said, full interior is included here, and here you can see 3D renders of this kit of the assembled model. Now let's open it. It's a top opening box, and here is what we have inside. So as you can see, quite a tight packaging, plenty of different plastic sprues, and as you can see, they're packed only into 3 plastic bags, so be sure to check them if you can, but I think everything should be alright. Maximum, or let's say in the worst case, you can get some broken off parts, but not like damaged parts. Now just give me a second to open this plastic bag and I will show you what is inside. As usual for Miniart, all plastic bags here are sealed, so I have to use knife in order to open them. And then we can take a look at all plastic frames which are hidden here. First, I would like to show you the transparent sprue, which is packed together with Decals sheet, and of course separate plastic bag should protect this frame, this clear frame, from possible scratches. So here is Decals sheet. I will zoom in so that you can see it closer. Printing quality is quite nice. Here we have all necessary symbols for several marking options. As you can see, we will be able to replicate tanks from different countries' armies. And then here we have transparent sprue, which is molded like this. Here we have periscopes, different parts for headlamps, and some other clear elements on the tank. Molding quality is quite nice. Of course, masks are not included here, so you will have to cut them with your own hands, or maybe just to buy some aftermarket set for applying it on your model. Now I'm opening the next cardboard envelope. Here it is. You can see that it has nice Miniart logo. And then here we have 2 PE threads. Both are unpainted. Here is the first one, here is the second one. And all those parts will be used in today's kit for super detailing. And they will be used both outside and inside, so be sure to check carefully where to use this or that part so that you won't miss it in your assembly process. Next we have plastic sprues. Let's start with this plastic frame, which is dedicated to the turret parts. Here you can see top segment, which is molded without those half circles for hatches. Here we have also a special, let's say, part for the gun mantlet, and I will zoom in so that you can see it closer. Here it is. Molding quality looks quite fine. Just be sure to carefully glue them together in order to avoid visible gaps between those parts, because they should be seamless. Next we have wider frame. Wide is wider because here we have hull parts. Here those two. Also here we have the top segment of the tank, some rings for the turret again, lower part of the turret. Here we have some interior parts, tarpaulin, and I can even zoom in so that you can see these two parts closer. So as you can see, level of detailing is really nice, attachment points are thin enough, and I don't see any possible flash even on thin parts, but of course those thin parts will require careful separation because it is easy to break them, and then you will have to repair them somehow, and it's not that easy. Next we have another plastic frame. This one is dedicated to different internal and external elements. Why we have so many tiny parts? Because again we have full detailed interior, so you have to work with them and you have to paint them somehow, so be ready for this. And just to remind you the size, here you can see, for example, comparison of all those thin parts with my fingertip. They're really small, even though model size, model scale is 1/35. Next we have two plastic frames, and here we have engine parts here, and also some external elements once again, which will be used. Actually, these are not external but internal elements which will be used inside tank. Molding quality is really nice, and I can say for sure that engine will be quite detailed, so take your time, do not hurry with it, and you will get a nice result out of the box. I mean, detailing wise, this kit is one of the best on the market, and the only thing which will be dependent on you is painting and weathering quality, of course. Here we have lower hull part, also here we have mud guards, and those are special holders for the ammo. And I want to zoom in so that you can see these look quite interesting because they're molded as one-piece part and detailing looks fine. Here also we have mud guards, which are also molded as one-piece parts. They're placed on 4 attachment points each, so be careful while separating them. And overall molding quality seems to be fine, as you know, previous sprues which we saw before. Next we have, just give me a second. Next we have two narrow sprues. Here again we have more of interior parts, various elements. So be sure not to lose all those tiny elements because there are no spare parts whatsoever. So you have to deal with what you have on those frames. And next we have more of small sprues. Here are 2 of them. Here we have 2 more. Again, interior parts, again quite thin parts. I can zoom in so that you can see them closer. So here is the first sprue, and next we have another one. Note this nice ammo, which is molded as one-piece part. And by the way, here you can see machine gun. I would rather replace it with some aftermarket edition, be it resin or at least metal barrel. Here we have more of interior parts once again, and another one for suspension section. Next we have more of small parts. Actually, these are absolutely identical frames which we just saw a second ago. And there we have one last sprue in this plastic bag, which is dedicated to hull parts. Again, here you can see side parts, side panels for the lower half of the hull. Here we have also mud guards again, which are molded separately, different type of the front mud guards, and more of different interior parts. So look at the machine gun. I'm quite surprised by its detailing. It's not that amazing, I would say. It is fine for out of the box detailing, but I would rather replace it with some aftermarket edition because this kit deserves improvement, and let's say machine gun will be visible on your finished model, so it's worth investing into it. Now I'm opening second plastic bag. As you remember, there are 3 of them. Second plastic bag is full of small narrow screws, which are obviously dedicated to suspension parts, to track parts, as well as some of the interior parts for engine compartment and driver's compartment as well. Now just give me a second. I will try to remove them. This is one of the, let's say, familiar features in Miniart kits, that you have really huge amount of different plastic screws, and that's not a good thing because you can easily lose these narrow screws or small screws, and it is easier to, let's say, combine them into something more streamlined and unified, but still we get huge amount of small frames, which you will see in a second. The same story was in the recent SU 122, and now we have it once again. So here we have track parts. Of course, this kit has separate track links, and as far as I know, this should be workable tracks, so you can use them if you plan to motorize your tank as well. Next we have this part for the road wheels. As you can see, each road wheel should be assembled out of two halves. Inside we have position elements, so no worries about possible position problems. Here we have separate sprue for ammo, and another one is here with oxygen bottle on it. These two look fine, and I think they will be easy to assemble as well. Another interesting addition in this plastic bag is this narrow sprue with different internal elements. As you can see, it is quite wide, so I will zoom in and we will check segment by segment. Here we have different interior equipment. These tiny parts will have to be carefully painted, of course, and I think interior will look quite detailed. Here you can see circle for the turret, which is also molded as one-piece part. And another narrow sprue is here. Again, plenty of different interior parts. Thin elements. Here you can see comparison with my fingertip, they're really small. And again, even though this is 1/35 scale, some parts are will require usage of tweezers, because otherwise you won't be able to handle it properly. Next we have third and the last plastic bag. Now I need a second once again to open it, and we will check it closer. Just give me a second. I wonder when we will see Miniart kit with, let's say, less sprues, or maybe more unified sprues without these tiny frames for external elements. But we have such design at the moment. Next we have, as I said, third plastic bag. Here we have more of different plastic sprues. Why I'm a bit confused, because here we have, as you can see, this frame. We have also one segment wrapped into this foam, but as far as I can see, there are not that, let's say, tender parts, so I'm not sure why it is covered like this, because for example here we have thin parts which are even easier to break, and they're not covered with foam at all. Next we have different small sprues. For example, this sprue is supplied in 3 pieces, and here we have storage boxes, Pioneer tools, and some other minor details for external surfaces. As I said, there are 3 pieces of this plastic frame. Next we have again similar plastic frames with fuel tanks. As you can see, there are 2 of them. Each fuel tank should be assembled out of 2, or actually 4 parts, because we have 2 halves and 2 front and rear circles. Then we have again identical frames for the drive sprockets. Each drive sprocket should be assembled out of 2 halves, and the same can be said about those idlers. And as you can see here, we have separate suspension arms. Again, you have to assemble them out of 2 parts. And next we have even more identical frames with ammo for the main gun. But first I would like to show you these small separate frames for storage bins. As you can see, we have 3 of them. And next we have those 4 frames for ammo, as I said before. 2 similar sprues for internal elements which will be used in the turret, as far as I can see. Next we have road wheels, and again we continue with even smaller frames. You just saw those 2, so there are actually 4 of them, 4 of this type. And what else? Again, another pair of sprues. As you can see, there are plenty of absolutely identical frames which will be used for external and internal detailing. Here's another pair of frames, and then we have this sprue with internal elements such as driver's seat, for example, here, and frames for internal components. And last but not the least is this frame, where we have internal elements for engine compartment, of course, and here you can see one-piece main barrel, and here we have different parts for external detailing. Molding quality is really nice. It is still as good as on the previous plastic frames. Here you can see, for example, close-up of engine parts. Here is the main gun. And once again, I will remind you that it is one-piece part, as you can see here. So it will be your decision whether to replace this plastic version with metal analog or just to use it as an out-of-the-box version. Here we have assembly manual. Assembly manual is printed in form of this color printed brochure, which is typical for Miniart. Here we have short list of main features of this kit. Then we have first 2 marking options. This is a Iraq tank and also Vietnamese tank from 2000s, by the way. Here we have parts map, and again parts map in black and white. Assembly process starts with engine, as you can see here. Then we continue with lower hull part. We assemble all internal elements as well for the suspension. We continue with this circle, which you should remember from the first sprues. Then we assemble driver's seat, install the ammo bay, install it in place on the lower plate. We assemble sidewalls for the lower hull part. As you can see, we will have to combine these 2 separate panels together. And then we continue with assembly of interior, install engine in place. And note that there are small hints on the order how you should assemble your kit, so be careful and do not miss it. Here you can see attachment of road wheels. Here we continue with there is option to assemble it with roller, mine roller. It is quite interesting. Here you assemble the engine bay cover. Here you assemble also mud guards, tracks, of course. Each track contains 90 parts. Then here we assemble the turret. Note how detailed it will be. Plenty of small elements which you have to be careful with. Here we assemble part of the main gun. Machine gun is here. And then we install everything in place in the turret. More of turret parts. That's actually a top segment, as you can see here. And then we continue with external equipment for the turret. We install it in the place on the hull, and that's all. So 104 steps in order to have your tank ready for priming and painting. And here you can see color printed marking guides for several more marking options. These are quite colorful, so it will be up to you which one you choose for your tank. And here, of course, you can see also Russian tanks, and even that's a tank which was used in Danube operation in 1968. So that's all. I don't see any other extra bonuses in the box. So this kit is already available for purchase in any good model shop. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this kit here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye!